Hello and good day to all viewers of this video. First, I want to introduce myself. I am Shine Grace Daylusan, student from CE539 Transportation Engineering. Today, I will be discussing about the introduction to the profession of transportation, which covers the importance of transportation and the history of transportation. But before that, let us watch this video.
Transportation. Transportation refers to systems which are designed to move people and goods. It provides people with access to what they value and need to live their lives, build economies, and interact with the environment. Transportation is the backbone of a global network that trades over 18 trillion worth of goods and moves the world's population over 81 trillion kilometers every year. The system also impacts the climate. As of 2015, transportation accounted for 23% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. One way to understand this complex system is by breaking it down into three different components: mode, fuel type, and technology. Modes of transportation allow people and goods to move across air, land, and sea. People often move by human power, cars, and planes, while goods are transported by truck, rail, or ship. Fuel is the crucial element that propels the transportation system. The primary fuel types are derived from human power, renewable fuels, and fossil fuels. Different fuels, and how they are consumed, have distinct impacts on the climate and our air quality. When petroleum products are burned in vehicle engines, they release energy, but they also release greenhouse gases and other pollutants. Currently, 95% of transportation is fueled by petroleum. However, other fuels like electricity and biofuels are becoming increasingly prevalent as we adopt new technologies. Technology refers to what the vehicle uses to move, like an internal combustion engine in a gas car or an electric motor in an electric vehicle. Technologies vary greatly in efficiency. Efficiency determines how much of the fuel is actually used to propel a vehicle versus energy lost in the process. For instance, an average gasoline-fueled car is 25% efficient, meaning that 75% of the fuel used does not go into propelling the vehicle, but instead is lost as heat or other energy expenditures. When analyzing transportation options, it's important to consider what's possible with different combinations of modes, fuels, and technologies. One way to think about the climate impact of transportation is to calculate the amount of emissions per person or goods being transported. There is great potential for reducing our environmental impact by changing the mode of transport we use, or when possible, by choosing options that require little to no transportation at all, like eating local food or telecommuting. Since transportation is such an important factor in global carbon emissions, governments and companies around the world are increasingly looking to innovate. On the rise at the moment are biofuels, electric vehicles, mass transportation, and even new types of freight ships. Different types of infrastructure, such as roads, railways, airports, and fueling stations, are essential to supporting transportation systems. Ensuring that these systems are also safe, clean, affordable, comfortable, efficient, and reliable is also critical in determining how they take shape in different parts of the world. That's transportation.
Thank you so much for watching the video. So to learn more about transportation, let's go to our slide. So first, what is transportation? So transportation is the act of moving something from one place to another, and the various means by which such movement is accomplished. The growth of the ability and the need to transport large quantities of goods or numbers of people over long distances at high speeds in comfort and safety has been an index of civilization and in particular of technological progress. So in short, transportation is one of our most basic needs. So why it is that transportation important? So, transportation is a significant aspect of life that allows products or passengers to go places and conduct businesses. The important aspect of transportation is economic activity. The availability of transportation helps determine the location and success of the economic activity. Most industries require raw materials and access to transportation in order to maintain a steady profit. Employees and residents require a method of traveling back and forth from their home to work. Well-developed transportation methods such as rail system, interstate highways promote economic activity. Improving access to developed transportation increases activity in both rural and city areas or urban areas. Next is transportation and economical growth. Good transportation will not guarantee success in the marketplace, as the availability of transportation is a necessary but insufficient condition for economic growth. However, the absence of supportive transportation services will serve to limit the potential for a nation or region to achieve its economic potential. Thus, if a society is expected to develop and grow, it must have a strong internal transportation system consisting of good roads, rail system, as well as excellent linkages to the rest of the world by sea and air. It allows people to travel or transfer their goods from one place to another. It is a necessary condition for human interaction and economic competitiveness. Next is social cost and benefits of transportation. The improvement of region economic position by virtue of improved transportation does not come without cost. Building vast transportation system requires enormous resources of energy, material, and land. An aerial view of any major metropolis will reveal vast acreage used for railroad terminals, airports, parking lots, and freeways. Transportation has other negative effects as well. Travel is not without danger. Again, travel is not without danger. Every mode of transportation brings to mind some major disaster. For example, the sinking of the Titanic boat, the explosion of the Zeppelin Hindenburg, the infrequent but dramatic passenger air crashes, and highway accidents that each year claim about 40,000 lives in the United States alone. So in addition, transportation can create noise, spoil the natural beauty of an area, change the environment, pollute air and water, and consume energy resources. So in short, transportation does have advantage and disadvantage. If you want to know more, you can research it on your own. So now let's go to the history of transportation. But before we continue, we will again watch this another video. Okay, so let's continue for the history of transportation. So, a long time ago, people did not have any means of transportation or of transport. So, they used to move only on foot and carry goods either on their back or animals. So, if you could only imagine, their journey before was very long and tiring. So, I want to give you a brief story of wheels. So, one day, people were surprised to see a circular woods moving by itself. So, it is rolling on the ground. After several days of thinking and imagining, they invented the wheels. Funny thing, wheels was invented for making a clay pottery and not for traveling. As you can see in our slide, there is a clay pottery. So, they invented the wheels for clay pottery, not on the wheels. But soon, human being realized that it could be used for something better. People started inventing things that made our life easier. So, in 18th century, travel was by horseback or in animal-drawn vehicles on dirt roads. So, in early road building and planning. So, as the nation expanded, roads were built to accommodate the settlers. In 1974, the Lancaster Turnpike, the first toll road, was built to connect the Pennsylvania cities to Lancaster and Philadelphia. So the remainder of the 19th century saw considerable activity, particularly in canal and railroad building. So that's the canal boom. A canal is a man-made channel filled with water that allows boats to cross and stretch of land. So in 1820s, an era of canal construction began in 1820s when the Erie Canal was completed in 1825. So, and other inland as well waterways was constructed. In 1830s, transporting of goods was replaced by the railroads, which were being developed at the same time. 1840, number of miles of canals and railroads was approximately equal, but railroads, which could be constructed almost anywhere and develop land at much lower cost, supersedes canal as a form of intercity transportation. Thus, after a short-lived period intense activity, this canal boom construction came to an end. So next is the railroad era. The railroad was an emerging mode of transportation during the second half of the 19th century as railway lines were spanning the entire continent. Okay. So the railroad was dominated intercity passenger and freight transportation from late 1800s to the early 1920s. So, also in 1915, railroad mileage reached its peak of about 265,000 miles. So, that's it. So, transportation in cities. An urban transport system considers all elements of transportation, includes the infrastructure, rolling stock, and traffic flows in a city as a functioning entity. The interrelationship among different system components are emphasized as a result of high concentration of human activities within a limited space. Urban traffic congestion, especially at the commercial and business district. It's prevalent in all large cities worldwide. So each decade has seen continuous population growth within cities. And with it, and because of that, the demand for improvements in urban transportation system has increased. City transportation began with horse-drawn carriages on city streets. They were succeeded by cable cars, electric streetcars, underground electrified railroads, and bus transportation. City travel by public transit has been replaced largely by the use of automobile and urban highways. Urban productivity is highly dependent on the efficiency of its transport system to move labor, consumers, and freight between multiple origins and destination. So the automobile and interstate highways. The invention of development of the automobile created a revolution in transportation in the United States during 20th century. So the automobile, together with airplane, has changed the way we travel between cities. Like, for example, if you go by land from Mindanao to Luzon, it takes days for you to get to Luzon. However, when you take airplane, it's only a minute or an hour to get there. So as we come across a lot of innovation and development in transportation. So last is the bird aviation. So in 1903, the Wright brothers successfully invented and flew the first airplane. So both World War One, that's World War One and Two, were catalysts in the development of air transportation. Again, I'm sorry, that's World War One and Two. So they were the catalyst of development. They were the witness or the legacy in the development of air transportation. So these are the sample picture of historical highlights of transportation development. Also, if you already read your SIM or self-instructional manual which provided in our LMS Blackboard, there you can see the detailed summary of the historical highlights of transportation and development. So, before I end this video, I am thankful to all of you for taking time of watching this video. I hope you have learned and you've enjoyed it. Thank you.